When you're 5 years old and your mother puts you alone on a plane to meet a father you barely know, that changes how you understand family. In this conversation, my guest, the chef and author Camille Becerra, talks about growing up with her single mother, moving between Puerto Rico and New Jersey, losing and relearning language, and building a sense of belonging through culture, food, and tradition. We talk about what it's like to grow up without a present parent, not as tragedy, but as reality, and how identity can be shaped just as much by what's missing as by what remains. I'm Nabil Ayers, author and music executive, and this is Identified, where we explore identity, family, race, and culture through conversations with fascinating individuals. If you grew up with a single parent or learned early how to move between cultures, languages, or homes, this conversation is for you.
Yeah, I was born in Puerto Rico to a Puerto Rican mom and Cuban dad. Mm-hmm. Very soon after, they divorced. I don't know too much, but basically the traditional thing, Latin men, or men at that time, So there had been some, I guess not being faithful or truthful or loyal to, marriage. And so my mom moved to the States from Puerto Rico when I was about a year old. Mm-hmm. And so basically, single mom childhood. Did meet my dad once, and it was so random and so odd and so kind of like intense that I was like, I don't think I ever want to do this again. My mom put me on a plane to Miami.
How old were you?
5 years old,
Ooh,
maybe 6.
That's intense. Put you on a plane by yourself.
To meet like strange people. It was so intense, and I just did not like that experience. I wanted to meet him and I was excited to do it. We traveled a lot back and forth to Puerto Rico.
Where did you live in the States?
I grew up in New Jersey.
Oh, right,
in
New
Elizabeth.
Jersey. Okay.
Take the plane often to Puerto Rico alone.
Like that young?
Starting around that time. It was not like a weird thing back then. I think it's different now.
I remember, maybe it's a 9/11 thing. I remember as a kid, not that young, but like probably 8, 9, 10, flying alone. I was an unaccompanied minor, and I would wear a little sign that said unaccompanied minor. And they would just like make sure you got on and make sure someone took you off.
Yeah. Huh. So anyway, I had cousins that lived around here. I had great cousins that lived in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. When I would go there for the summer to stay with my grandmother's house, I, developed really great bonds with my Puerto Rican side of the family. I would get there, they would tell me, oh, she's so shy, but in actuality, it was that I would lose my Spanish within that year. I would pick it up very quickly and just have really wonderful memories of going down there, of family life with cousins, the food and the traditions that were still sort of going on back then, which meant like getting up early, going to the bakery to get bread. I love that. Like that does not exist anymore. Mm-hmm. Fruit trees in the backyard. Mm-hmm. So I have really great memories of my Puerto Rican family and specifically going to Puerto Rico. I had some cousins that I grew up with in the States, but they were older. My Cuban side of the family, in and out.
And that's your father's side?
He never lived in the States much. Mm-hmm. He didn't like the States, so he lived in Caracas for a while, Colombia. So he kind of always was leaned more into South America more than North America.
Mm-hmm. When you went to see him when you were 5, leading up to that, what did you know? You're so young, obviously. I don't know what you remember, but what did you know of him? What was the sort of setup? Was it, you're finally going to see your wonderful father that you've heard so many great things about? Or was it, you should see this guy sometime. He's kind of a drag. It's so interesting for kids how it's presented, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't really remember it. I remember going there, and I remember it's being very weird. I remember I oftentimes didn't go to Puerto Rico during holidays in the winter, so this was out of my norm. Wow, Miami, it's Christmas and it's hot. I remember that sort of stuff. I don't remember how it was presented to me. I was just gonna go and meet my dad and his side of the family. And I think there was like one or two people that I had been more acquainted with. I don't know. I've always...
That's young. Yeah. And were there other meetings after that?
No. Then I was like, I never want to meet him again. Also, I remember feeling very much like, oh, I'm so lucky I don't have a dad when I was growing up, because it was like my family was more lenient. Like I got away with much more than my friends who'd had dads. So I was always like, I'm so lucky not to have to deal with that. Later on, when I was 22, then I was like, I'm going to go meet him. And that's when I did. It was fine. It was better than that, because I like really wanted to. And so I kind of did the things that were, did the this is my dad thing. And, it's my dad. So he was weird, but it was fine because he was my, you just accept it in that sort of space. You like kind of accept a lot. Then after a while, I was just like, oh, he's just too much. It's too much.
In what way?
Well, in a lot of different ways. Let's just say the last time I was there, we got there and I brought my daughter because my daughter was already of age that she would remember, a grandparent. So we go to Caracas and we get there late and I hear a little baby crying. And I was like, what's that? He had a baby. And he had a baby, like, I would say, like, who was, like, maybe 3 to 4 years younger than my daughter. I had to tell my daughter, she's like, who's that? I was like, Right,
that's your...
You're like, aunt, cousin, but I don't know what that is. Your aunt, she's her aunt.
What is she? What's the...
But it's like more like a cousin in a way that's like... Like she would be her aunt, but it's like more of a cousin because it's like there's kind of the same age.
Right. And you're processing, you learn this in real time when you walk in the door and hear.
Oh yeah, but he said he had told me, I just didn't hear him.
Right. That would be a weird thing to forget.
Yeah. Okay. No, he was like, no, I did tell you, you just didn't hear me. I was like, oh wow, okay.
That's a great example.
That piqued it and I was just like, meow.
Right.
But he would come visit me in New York when I was living, like, before I had my daughter, he would come visit me in New York in like the middle of winter with Birkenstocks and there would be snow on the ground. I'm like, I can't. An
eccentric character. Yeah. And does your daughter have a relationship with his daughter?
No.
They're the same age?
No,
that would be interesting.
No. I was just like, this is too much.
Yeah.
This guy's a little bit weird. And then, when you're a parent at the age of like 4 or 5, things start revving up and you just don't have a lot of free time.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I mean, I also was raised by a single mother and had a great childhood. And when I was younger, I was around tons of kids who mostly had single mothers.
Because you grew up where?
Then, I was born in New York City in the Village, lived in Amherst, Massachusetts for a long time, in this sort of very idyllic, multiracial, multi-everything, like crazy 70s sort of University of Massachusetts housing development where it was like 200 kids and all their parents and everyone had to be affiliated with the university. So it was this really great, safe place where kids just like ran around and so many different foods and so many different cultures and all these things.
Nice.
And so I was, even though, we were on welfare, black father who's not in the picture, white mother, like everything on paper that sounded so bad, it was really this incredible place and everyone was the same. So there was no we all thought we were in great shape. And so I grew up then, at least, I moved later, but then feeling like, oh wow, this is a great, just like normal life. But I'm always curious with people who are raised by single parents if it felt different, if you felt like you had less. You already mentioned that you loved having a single parent because you could get away with more, but were there things that you saw in your friends who had a mother and a father and a more traditional family setup that you were jealous of or ever wished you had? Never.
I never was jealous.
Yeah.
If anything, people that had siblings. Now that seemed fun.
Right.
But never jealous about I grew up in apartment buildings.
Yeah.
That just meant less space. Right. So I'm not jealous about I don't remember being jealous. I just remember being very happy that I didn't have a dad. But also grew up in Elizabeth at the time was very, very diverse. And it was small, so you really got to kind of meet a lot of different cultures through that.
Right.
And that I am very happy always, especially when I think about food and being exposed to a lot of different types of food.
Right.
I'm so very happy that I'm from a place like Elizabeth.
So the food, obviously food is you're very involved in it. And you mentioned sort of very early childhood memories and memories of going to the bakery and doing those things in Puerto Rico. And then it sounds like maybe that expanded in Elizabeth through friends and others who kind of exposed you to things.
Yeah.
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 Is there a familial connection to food and what you do now? Does it feel like it's a
Carried
cultural
over
thing?
from them?
Yeah.
No, not really, actually. Because it's so different. I mean, maybe there is like a sprinkling of that there, but to be honest with you, the idea of cooking professionally was a thing. It was never like, oh, I didn't have like, I think I had one friend that their parents they were like Greek, and their parents owned like a hot dog hamburger spot, which was actually very good. And that didn't connect. I didn't connect with that. I really didn't realize I wanted to do anything in food until I graduated high school and kind of got out there and traveled. Looking back, I'm glad that I had that sort of foundational understanding of culture and through food, but not really enough to motivate me to be like, oh, I know what I want to do.
Right. I'm curious, were there traditions, whether that means Christmas or Thanksgiving or sort of family traditions that you and your mother, that you grew up with?
Oh yeah, so food is always such a big tradition. Right. So we grew up very much eating, a typical Puerto Rican cuisine every single day. And then, for holidays, it would, especially Christmas, it would include, more traditional Christmas items like a roast pork and these tamales that were called pasteles because they're made out of yuca and banana and plantain instead of corn. And coquito, this traditional Christmas only, New Year's only drink, rum drink with coconut and spices. So yeah, we always did every day was rice and beans and a protein. Every holiday.
That regimented, yeah.
Well, maybe there was different types of protein, different types of beans, but always like white rice, beans, and a protein and a salad. And then Christmas, always this one type of pork, this one type of pastel, tamal thing. Yeah.
Yeah, very traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah,
Have you kept those traditions up? Do you make those things for your child?
Yeah,
you
I
keep
do.
the same exact recipes and all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah.
How old is your child?
23.
Oh, wow. Okay. Grown. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's cooking is not her thing, as she will say, but she does make really great Puerto Rican food. So I'm very proud of that.
You pass that on.
Yeah.
That's great. Has there been much grief or trauma in your family?
Grief or trauma? I mean, isn't adolescence always grief and trauma? So yes.
Right.
Both for myself and my daughter. I mean, those are hard years. Sorry, like you're being confronted with like pressure, societal fears, so much. And with that, you kind of fuck up a lot, but isn't that, the thing that makes you a little bit different and a little bit, I don't know. So yeah, but nothing ever like murder or, airplane crashes. No.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
What is family to you?
Family to me, I at this point in my life, family is having a relationship with someone. Like, I really do believe like, some family are friends and some friends are family. Totally, because there's a lot of family members that I'm like, I see their phone and I'm like, oh, let me just push that away.
Right.
And certainly a lot of friends that I just love so much and have known for so many years and can call on them as if they were family, or they know that I'm always there for them.
Right.
So that sort of, that's my take on family.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Please consider subscribing to Identified wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss an episode. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other major streaming platforms. And be sure to explore identifiedpod.com, the place to gain a better understanding of family. Our executive producer is Kiran Banerjee, and the show is produced by Palm Tree Island. The music for Identified is by Noella and Patricia Brennan. I'm Nabil Ayers. Thanks for tuning in.